Hi everyone, I am back today with Christianne from Backpacking Bananas, and today we're going to address another travel backpacking topic with you. I get a lot of questions about working holiday visas in Australia. I have never actually done one, so when people ask me, I'm just kind of like direct them to different sites. Yeah. But we have an expert on hand today.
Oh, we have an expert, that's me!
Today we are going to pick Christianne's brains. I personally am really intrigued into these questions myself. I've written down a few questions and Christianne is going to give us the answers. Okay, so I want to work in Australia. What do I do first?
Okay, first thing you need to do is see if you are eligible. So to work in Australia as a backpacker, you're going to need a working holiday visa. However, not everyone can do this. So you need to check the Australian immigration website, of course, but generally, just as a few basics, you need to be 18 to 30 years old. You can't have any children that depend on you. UK, you're absolutely fine, and Germany, I know you're fine, and there are a bunch of others which are fine.
We will leave the Australian immigration website link below so you can check whether your country is eligible.
Oh, and you can't have any like crazy diseases or like major health problems because that can run into issues as well. But if you are a healthy 18 to 30 year old with no children,
I guess basically they want you to add to their country with your assets rather than, you know, have bad health and like be draining their system.
Exactly.
Application process, what do you need to apply?
Okay, so there is an online application where you are basically just asking, you're basically just answering a bunch of questions. There is a fee. Last time I checked it was 440 Australian dollars, which is about £300. So yeah, it's not cheap. Definitely worth it. But yeah, once you've filled everything out, you've paid the fee, then you just wait to be accepted. For me, this took about 48 hours. I've heard some people being accepted within 24 hours.
Oh wow, it's quite quick.
Yeah, but they do say that leave 8 weeks. So it could take 2 months. That's what they say. It should take much shorter than that. Apply at least 2 months before you intend on going to Australia. Because if it does take 8 weeks and you know you've booked your flight for 2 weeks' time, then you're going to be a little bit screwed.
And also, isn't it that you shouldn't apply more than 12 months in advance of when you're going?
Yes, that's
You have to basically start the visa within 12 months of being accepted.
So once you have been accepted, you have 12 months to then enter Australia. If you don't enter Australia within 12 months, then your application becomes void, you can't apply again.
Oh, you can't even apply again?
No, that's it.
Oh, wow.
Like, you're done.
So that is a top tip. If you are going to apply for one, make sure you're actually going.
You know you're going.
Within the next 12 months because you can't apply again.
Yeah, you'll lose your money.
Wow.
I'm 99% sure that you just lose your money, you just can't apply again. And I think it's just so people are serious about it.
Yeah. Okay, so you've applied and hopefully got your visa accepted.
Yeah.
Book your flight.
I would probably advise to book a flexi flight because they say that you need to have 5,000 Australian dollars like in your bank account ready for when you travel. This is so that you have enough money to financially support yourself whilst you're out there, and also
again not draining their system.
And enough money to buy a flight back home. Now you can book a one-way flight, but it's not impossible that they will question you at the airport and be like, you know, where's your return flight? And if you can prove to them that you've got the sufficient funds to book a flight home, then you should be absolutely fine. But if you know that you're going to be returning at a particular point or thereabouts, it's probably a really good idea to book a return or at least a flexi flight.
Most people don't get checked,
it's not essential.
But just on the off chance, they can refuse you entry if you don't have the requirements.
Yeah.
We've got our visa, we've booked our flight, we've arrived, and we want to find work.
Okay.
To get work, we have to be paid into an Australian bank account?
Yes, that's correct, because cash in hand work is illegal. That's not to say that it's uncommon, a lot of people do it. But yeah, you're going to really want to sort yourself out a bank account. It's super easy. I'd advise doing it in the first week that you get to Australia.
So you don't do it before you get there, you just do it when you get there?
No, yeah, do it when you get there. I don't even know if you can do it beforehand, but you really don't need to, so I just wouldn't bother. I was with a bank called Commonwealth, which is one of the most popular ones.
Yellow, they're yellow, aren't they?
Yeah, yellow, got branches absolutely everywhere. I was really pleased with them. Like, I never had any problems with my card. The app was really easy, so I do recommend them. But my sister's with Westpac, she really likes them, and there are a bunch of other Australian bank branches, and it's super easy to sign up. It's exactly the same as being at home. So yeah, just get yourself signed up, get yourself a bank account, and then you're sorted.
Perfect. Okay, on to the jobs. So working holiday visa, I guess most people will probably want to work as a means to travel, so they won't want like long-term commitment jobs. But I think didn't you say that you can only work up to 6 months for one company anyway?
Yeah. So you can't work for more than 6 months for one company unless they were to sponsor you, but that is actually quite rare in Australia. It is quite difficult to get sponsored, so don't go expecting
get sponsored at all is really rare.
It's difficult. It's not rare. I know people who have been sponsored by Australian companies, but it's difficult, and especially if you're just going into bar work or something like that. Like, you're so replaceable that they don't need you.
They don't need to sponsor you.
Yeah, so I wouldn't go to unless your job is very specific and you're very good at it.
Yeah, more career, like a long-term career path kind of job.
Yeah, then please don't get your expectations high to get sponsored.
So what kind of jobs can people expect to be doing on their visa? What are easy backpacker kind of jobs?
Bar work, restaurant work, like working in hostels.
Because you can work in hostels. I know people that worked for their accommodation as well.
Work for accommodation. Yeah, that is such a good thing to start off by doing, because obviously there's no money involved there, so you don't even need to have a bank account at that point. And you will either work on reception or do housekeeping. I've actually done that twice. Like,
it's not even that bad. Don't people just do like 3 hours cleaning or something, like, or a couple hours cleaning? No.
It really depends on the hostel.
So is it more than what you bargain for when you like go in?
So I had an amazing gig in Sydney. I was working on the reception desk at Base Backpackers, and I was doing 15 hours a week. I got free accommodation and I got free Wi-Fi, and that was
free Wi-Fi. Love it. Free Wi-Fi.
I love a bit of free Wi-Fi.
Backpacker life.
So Base Backpackers was a really, really good gig for me, but I've done working for accommodation before where I was housekeeping. It was 18 hours, very, very, very strict. They were horrible to me.
Really?
And so it just really depends on the hostel that you're in.
You can get paid as well, so you don't have to work for accommodation. Can you just do a paid job?
Yeah, so you can work in hostels and get paid. That is an option. Normally they're full-time stuff.
And I guess it's great to work in hostels because as well as working and covering your costs, you are going to meet so many people that are travelling, which can help you choose your next destination and find travel buddies.
Oh yeah, working in a hostel is such a fun way, especially just when you're starting out and just meeting so many people.
It's natural. It's almost like, you can't, if you're a nervous kind of person and you don't want to approach people because you work there, you've got a reason for people to approach you and for you to approach them, so it kind of breaks down that initial.
Exactly. But you can also I did a lot of temporary office work, so going to recruitment agencies like you would at home. So they do have specialised recruitment agencies, like if you work in construction, you can go to a construction recruitment agency.
Did you use recruitment agencies to find work out there?
Yes, yeah, I did.
Do you know the names of any, if people are...
Oh, I mean, because they're different in every city.
Just Google.
Literally just Google, whatever. So in Sydney recruitment agencies, and sign up to as many as you can. If that's the kind of work that you're looking for, literally just sign up.
Office temp work.
Yeah, office temp work, or any kind of temp work that you can get through an agency. Just sign up to as many, because you're not going to have success with all of them, of course, and it's just good to have as many opportunities as you can.
I guess a lot of jobs as well, it's kind of word of mouth. When you get there, you'll meet other travellers that have had other jobs and you'll get contacts. But I know also in hostels they have pin boards.
Yes,
where
they do.
People, like businesses that specifically want backpackers or have work for backpackers, they will put it on the notice board in the hostel. So every hostel has a notice board where... And
there's always stuff on there.
Everything's advertised, from spaces in cars on road trips to people selling camper vans or cars.
Sometimes there's like hairdressers in the hostels who just want a bit of extra cash, and they're like, I'll cut your hair for £10.
Yeah,
or,
exactly.
With that voice as well.
So check the notice boards in hostels, especially for jobs. I guess get your initial job, and then I reckon, I haven't done it, I'm just chatting rubbish, but I assume it will just roll from there, and you will...
and speak to other people, see what they're doing, and you'll probably find opportunities that you don't even know existed, and stuff which I couldn't even tell you, because you don't know until you get there. But definitely have some CVs printed with obviously all your experience from home.
Oh, that's a good thing to do at home before you go out, isn't it?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, and also have them on a memory stick, and also email them to yourself as well, because then if you need to email them to any people, you've literally just got it there already, and it'll just make your life so much easier, because otherwise you'll be in a hostel trying to use their printer and scanner and you don't want to do that.
Obviously a lot of people, if I was going, I'd probably want to work a few weeks here, a few weeks there. Obviously that's really annoying for employers, right? Do you tell them that you're going to leave, or do they...
I'd say that you're going to be there for at least a few months, even if you are going to be there for a few weeks. Like, I think a few white lies there is fine, because they're expecting you to be short term, maybe not as short term as 2 weeks, but if you are planning on staying somewhere for 2 weeks, that's fine. Just tell them that you're going to
Honesty
be there
is
for,
great, but probably in this case,
just
don't be
tell
too
them,
honest.
Yeah, just be like 3 months.
Yeah, because no one can blame you for changing your mind on things.
No, exactly. Yeah, you're not going to get penalised or fined for leaving after 2 weeks. Like, it'll piss them off a bit, but they're used to it. Oh, and one more thing, make sure you check Gumtree. It's not always the most reliable
I didn't even know they had
source.
that over there.
Oh yeah, it's big over there. Yeah,
Really?
A lot of people find jobs on Gumtree.
Ah.
Obviously, can be a bit dodgy and unreliable, so just make sure you do as much research as you can about exactly what you're doing, ask other people, but it can be a way to find jobs.
I guess just adding in as well, at that point when you said about calling people, be good to get an Australian SIM card. When you do your bank account, your initial admin, when you arrive in Australia, get a SIM card.
Just make sure your phone's unlocked. That's the thing to do before you arrive. You can go with Vodafone, Telstra and Optus are really popular ones over in Australia. And sign yourself up for Medicare as well, which is essentially like the NHS, but over there it's free to sign up for, and it just means you can go to the doctors for free.
And you sign up online?
Yep, sign up online.
Link will be below. Okay, so if you're anything like me, I like to have things planned and organised before I get there, so I would be thinking, I want to sort a job before I get to Australia.
Okay.
She's like, oh god, you're one of them. Would you recommend it? Like, how is it best to do? Do you just wait till you get there?
You're not alone in thinking that you would want to sort a job before you get there. Some people do. Not a lot of people have success with it, because a lot of the time, if you're contacting even just recruitment agencies or any companies before you get to Australia, majority of the time they're just going to say, okay, we'll just wait until you get here. Imagine if you were them and you had someone literally on your doorstep who you could interview straight away, you knew what they were like. And then on the other hand, you had someone on the other side of the world who was like, oh, I'm coming in a few weeks. You'll be like, I don't know you, and I can't trust that you, even if you're like perfect, you're so far away for them. And especially if you're just getting a short-term role, it's not realistic. So
it'd be a better idea to get there, sort your stuff out, and apply once you've got your phone, your bank, and everything ready to go. So you are the perfect package delivered to their doorstep.
But just, expect to be unemployed for a bit when you get there. So don't think I need to get a job within the first 3 days, because that's not realistic either. Give yourself maybe.
You wouldn't even do that here. It's not even just Australia. With any job, just give yourself a little bit of time.
Exactly. I think at least 2 to 3 weeks just to settle in, get yourself all organised, meet a bunch of friends.
Second year visas. I've heard there's been a few changes in the last couple of years, but at the moment you have to do some kind of farm work before you can obtain your second year visa.
That's correct. You have to do 3 months farm work, or rural work is what they call it, within your first year, before you get your second year visa. When you are in a location over there looking for the job, it will be quite clear who's registered and who's not, but you need to do 3 months. It needs to be paid work, so you can't volunteer, and it needs to be full-time.
That changed recently, didn't it?
So that changed in the middle of when I was working. It really fucked me over. Thank you, Australian immigration. Basically, right now, obviously check the Australian immigration often, because the rules do
because this
change.
video might outdate. I have this image of being in scruffs and working on a farm and I don't want to say it, but almost like slave work.
Yeah, I mean, it's very
Is that true?
It's very common for Brits and people on the working holiday visa doing this rural work to get exploited. There's a lot of Australian farmers who love to do that because they know that we have to do this work to get in. Some people are really, really lucky and they manage to find somewhere where you don't have to do really shitty work.
What kind of jobs, what kind of work can you expect to do?
Banana picking.
It's a lot of fruit picking, isn't it?
A lot of fruit picking, just working on farms.
Labour work.
Yeah, essentially labour work. Like I said, some people are really lucky. I've known people who have worked on reception in a hostel. I don't really think it was properly allowed, but it was in the right place, and so they managed to get ticked off. I think there's a lot of lying involved on applications and stuff, but it's all very risky because I think the statistic
if you mess it up, you mess it up.
I think the statistic is 1 in 5 people get properly checked as to exactly what they've been doing. Yeah, so yes, you can lie, but that's risky.
Do you want to take that risk? We know by now that the Australians are toughies.
They are.
If you want
toughies.
that second year visa, you kind of want to be legit about it.
Yeah.
How do you go about finding farm work? I know that when you're in hostels, when I've been in hostels, there's certainly a lot of talk about it and people recommend, people pass on their stories and their contacts, but if you're someone that wants to do the farm work, where would you suggest looking for it?
What I did was literally, I was staying in a big hostel in Cairns, and at the travel desk there was literally a specific lady who helped find rural work for people.
Nice.
Yeah, and you do have to pay them a fee, but they will actively go out and search work for you.
Oh, that's really good.
And it will be with like a proper company, and so that's a very nice way of doing it.
Usual in hostels? They normally have someone assigned?
If it's a really big hostel, then yeah, that is quite popular, especially if you're up in Queensland, because then there's a lot of rural areas out there. If you're down in Sydney, you will find places, but it's not as common.
If there isn't one in your hostel, then maybe go and check around the different hostels in the city or in the area.
Exactly,
and one of them is probably likely to have someone that can help you.
And check Gumtree and...
probably Facebook groups as well. Australia backpackers, Brisbane backpackers, Sydney backpackers.
You've got it all.
There's all of these, and where's Mollie Global Travel?
It's easy for me to say now that I've like been there and done that, but like when you're here, it's like But trust me, like when you get there, when you go to the hostels,
many people are doing the same thing.
Everyone's talking about it. Everyone is talking about it.
Do you have any particular pieces of advice that you would give to someone that wants to work in Australia or someone that is planning to?
First piece of advice would be, if you are thinking about doing your second year, if you think, oh, I might want to do, because you don't actually have to do 2 years consecutively. You can do your first year, and as long as you've done your rural work, you can do the second year at any point.
Oh.
Yeah. So you can like go away, do other things, and then do your second year. But
so you can like go away, go back home for a bit, and then come back over. And
and you can like have like years in between. My tip would be to do your rural work as soon as you arrive in Australia. It's going to be the shittest. Well, not everyone says it's the shittest part, but I think for most people it's going to be your most rubbish 3 months. I would just get it over and done with. Get your second year signed off, and then whether you do it next year
there
or not, you've just got it.
Again, if you don't do it, you don't get another chance in Australia.
Exactly, you've got it in the bag. So
nothing worse than getting to the end of the year and being like, damn it, I should have done that. I want to stay.
I wouldn't say I have regrets, but it's the one thing I'm like, that would have been.
Because you did your 3 months, was it towards the end of the year?
Yeah, and then because they changed their rules, I had to basically do 4 months work. There's a longer story to that.
So at the moment you can't volunteer, but when you were doing it, you could volunteer. So you were in the middle of volunteering. They changed the rule, and to make your work valid, it would have had to be 4 months. You didn't have 4 months left of your year. Visa.
Yes, exactly, and that won't apply to you. But I left it till the end of the year. It meant that I didn't have enough time on my visa to finish it. I literally asked immigration, I was like, is there anything that you can do to help me? Because you fucked me over. Thanks, guys. And they were just like, no, nothing we can do. Like,
God, that is
shit. They're so strict. And so I would just, to be safe, just do it at the start. Just get it over and done with. And
so top tip, do your farm work when you get there or within the first 6 months that it's out of the way. Is there anything that you know now about working in Australia that you didn't know before that you were like, I wish someone would have told me that?
Mostly that first tip, and just get everything sorted in your first week, as in like your bank account, your SIM card, your Medicare. It's going to make your life so much easier. And I should probably mention this, I haven't already, there are companies which help you with this whole process. One which I would probably recommend most, I've never done any of them, but Oz Intro, who also run like Bali Intro and Thai Intro, they literally look after everything for you. They help you get your visa, they help you get your SIM card. They
take cost.
Yes, so it's £499 as I think the last time or was it £399? I think it was £499 the last time I checked.
It's quite expensive.
That is, but
when you got your visa on top, that's nearly £1,000.
It is, but they also organise accommodation when you first arrive at Base Backpackers. They take you out on like your whole first week in Australia. It's in Sydney, and you meet the group because you're with a group of people. They take you out to loads of different fun things.
I guess like with these tours, I always say they're really expensive, but they serve a purpose for people that are not confident, that are, they just want that security of like the first step.
And so I actually did a little bit of research into this. I found out that if you were to do everything by yourself that they do in the tour, it would cost £300. So for the extra £200, you're getting like support with everything that you do, so you're not lost and doing
peace
stuff
of
by
mind
yourself.
as well.
Yep, you're meeting people immediately, and everything's just basically made easy for you. However, if you are very independent, you've been backpacking solo before, you know you're going to make friends, then there's no point, because you could just do it all yourself and save yourself £200.
Yeah, but if you are interested in that, I will leave the link for that below. Anything in this video that you like the sound of, or you're like, oh, I want to do that, or I want to find out more, I will pop a load of links below. for you. So this video is all about Australia, but I know that you've also worked in New Zealand as well.
I did. When my second year Australia fell through, I was just like, okay, New Zealand's
So did you just apply for New Zealand and then head over there?
Quite literally, yes.
And so that is a backup if you finish, even if you finish your second year in Australia,
Yeah.
but you're like, I don't want to go home.
You don't want to go home. That's what I was like. I don't want to go home. I'm not ready. I need to do something else. And so I literally just applied for a New Zealand.
Amazing. Yeah. Well, at some point, hopefully, we'll do a New Zealand video because again, I haven't worked there, and you are the queen of working in New Zealand. But what I was wondering was, if you had to choose between New Zealand and Australia for a working holiday visa. Say someone can only choose one, they've only got time to do one, which one would you choose?
I think I have the same opinion that most other people have on this, and everyone says that working in Australia is better, but travelling in New Zealand is better. Did I just say, wait? Yeah, working in Australia is better.
The work life is better in Australia?
You get paid more in Australia, it's faster paced, and it's just a lot more fun, I guess.
The job itself.
Yeah, generally. New Zealand is a much slower way of life, but it's like, I think activities wise and travelling wise, it's just epic.
So you could just work in Australia, save your money, which is what a lot of people do anyway, and then go and travel Asia or New Zealand.
So that's the majority of people who have done both. That's what they say, and I definitely agree with them.
Well, thank you so much for your insight and all your knowledge. I know I've certainly learned a lot, so hopefully you guys have as well. We are going to be doing another video for Christianne's channel today. I will link below all of the videos that we've done together. So if you want to check out any of the other little chats that we've had.
Especially if you're new to backpacking, we've had some really good chats.
Beginner's guide to hostels, solo travel, so that might tie in with this video. If you're planning a working holiday visa and you're going solo, we've done a whole video on solo travel, what to expect, security, everything.
Thank you so much for watching.
Have an incredible time in Australia. If you're going, you are going to
love it. You're going to love it. You're going to have the best time.
And we will see you again soon for another video.